I hope that it stops for good. Okay, well, once again, we're going to try this again. I am your brother. I am Apostle Steve Lane, and I was born Stephen. So I want to say good evening to each and every one of you. You that are on, you that are going to see the replay. As I always have to do, allow me to just do a sound check, just to make sure that everything is okay. So bear with me as I do a sound check, and it looks like as I do a sound check. Okay, so it looks like I am on. I want to say good evening, Sister John Z. Blessings to you. And once again, each and every one that is going to come on, God bless you all. And let me just add someone. So this is really exciting. This is exciting. Everyone's exciting because um, I'm really just doing what the Lord has said to do, and and whatever the Lord brings, whatever the Lord says, I do it. And the main thing is that it is okay. Someone is saying a lot of feedback, and I think what it may be. Let me see. Okay, what I did was I muted. I don't know, Antley, if you have, if you are watching, if you can turn down your volume, if you're watching on another device, because I think what we're doing is we're getting feedback um, from you. So if you have that, okay, okay. So here we go. Yes, once again, just greetings to each and every one of you. I am really excited. I'm excited about this because I said yesterday, I just said I would like for someone to come on and come on for a conversation. And the thing is, I did not know what the conversation was going to be because I needed someone to come on. And then I knew that the Holy Spirit would just let me know based on what the conversation was going to be. So there are conversations that I have that are planned, such as there are conversations that are already being planned, but the Lord had me to do is he says, I want to test people. I want to test people. Stephen, I want you to have a spontaneous conversation, because what the Lord is saying is that he wants for God's people to stop being passive and to be bold, to get past your fears and your anxieties and your apprehensions, and to just trust him to come out of your comfort zone. And so I no one stated that they would do it. And so then today I said, Lord, this is going to be the last time. I'm going to ask the final time, because I'm not going to beg people, the final time for someone to come on. And who answered within 10 minutes? My nephew and his wife, they answered, I will come on. And so I'm excited to introduce my nephew and my new niece. And so I am grateful for them, for Antley and also Angela, also known as Mr. and Mrs. Staten. So, number one, can the two of you hear me?
Yes, and thank you so much for having us tonight.
Well, listen, I thank you. I thank you for coming on. So I am grateful. I want to make sure that you don't have your speaker phones on, so if you have your speakers phones on, uh, kind of you may have to take yourself off a speaker because we're getting the feedback, and people can also hear. So I think that is good, and prayerfully, you guys also put on your page that you're going to be on, so this way people are able to see it. So first of all, Anthony, this is my question to you, Anthony. What made you decide to respond to my request for a conversation? What made you decide?
I was working, and I saw your post. I was scrolling through Facebook in between calls, and I saw your post. So I said, maybe we could be on there. So just use my intuition and responded back to you.
And well, that's great because you really didn't know what the conversation was going to be about, so you were taking a chance.
Yeah.
Yes. And Angela, what was it for you when your husband calls you, and what did he say?
Not a lot. Antley is really one that you have to take a leap of faith. Of course, we kind of met on a leap of faith. Trust and faith. Those are two things we have to operate upon. And I know he is good and he's kind and his motives are right. So I was not afraid at all. But yeah, just trusting that we would be able to add something to the conversation and to be able to participate tonight.
Well, listen, I thank you because once again, it was spontaneous, and I love it. I love doing these things spontaneously. I always quickly run things by the Lord, and I really feel that it is the Lord that imparts these questions and these ideas to me. I know a lot of people like that word download. I do not use that word download. I use the word impartation, and so the Lord had released the impartation, and so we are grateful. So first, I want to just say good evening to some. Sister John G from Maryland. I want to say good evening to you. Not sure why it didn't come up, but good evening, Sister John G. And I also want to say good evening all the way from California, Sister Angela Joe, all the way from the West Coast. So good evening to you. And sisters, we're going to get to that statement. But yeah, so Sister Denise says, this is what Sister Denise says. She says, and I don't know if you could see, okay, because I can't see it, but you can probably see it. But Sister Denise says, Angela and Anthony, what are the odds of meeting someone with the same first two letters of your name? And she says it is so cute. So cute. So
I don't know how that happened.
Yes, now we have matching monograms.
Yeah. Now just one of those things that just happened.
Well, let me just let everyone. Yeah. Well, I want to let everyone know that they are in the same house. They're just in different rooms. So they're both under the same roof. So I don't want anyone to think that things have started. What already separated. No,
No.
they are in love. And I'm going to say for
No,
you,
we're not doing the route of the Trudeaus up in Canada. We're still in the process of really getting to know one another. Antley has been single for a very long time, and it is challenging for him to change up in some of his ways. So he has his office when he does his Zoom, the way he does his meetings set up in a certain way. And I am willing to give him that space so that he can kind of do what he does and be comfortable in it. But yeah, it is a process to bring two together as one.
well, what I want to be able to do is I really want to be able to walk you through it. So, Mrs. Allow me to just walk you through a series of questions leading up to that. And yeah, we definitely want to hear about that. There is someone that does have a question. I'm going to get to that question later. But Antley, you were single for 48 years. Antley, did you ever wonder, am I ever going to get married? Did you ever think that?
Of course. What man wouldn't? I mean, what guy wouldn't think that he would want to get married, you know? I think every guy wants that when he becomes a older adult, you know,
Well,
to get married. Sometimes
well,
it'll take a while.
well, I don't want you to answer for every guy. I don't want
Okay,
you to
well, for
answer for
me,
every guy. I want you to just answer
okay,
for yourself. Yes.
yeah, it was a point where I never thought it was going to
So
happen.
yes, you did. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was a point where I didn't think it was going to happen. I
And
mean, I had just given up. But when you got some good friends that got your back, they kind of help you out. Like my friend Crystal Jackson, she I had just given up, and she said, "I'm gonna help you out." And she went on blackpeoplemeet.com and set a profile up for me. I didn't have to do anything. And 3 days later, that lady down there below right there, Angela, she responded. All it took was a snowstorm, and boom, that was it. We met during the snowstorm here in Columbia. So
okay, so you went so you went on a dating site and you just said it, so you're answering how the two of you met. What do you think? What do you have to say took place on your end, Angela?
Well, I do think there is something very magical when you have two people who are on the same page, that have good values. I mean, we had so many things in common in even work, though it was the pandemic and we were not physically in offices, we actually worked for the same company. So, I mean, there was a lot of things there. We both enjoy people. We are extroverts. We now share the same initials. Um, there was just a lot of lovely things about Antley. He is a very good person and very kind. We are yin and yang in some areas, that I am stronger and he is weaker, but it does work out in a kind of a special way where, I can be more goal oriented and driven about goals and numbers. He is much more personable about building the relationship, where I may be a little bit more adept at building a spreadsheet, but it does take two, and it does take both of those abilities to progress. And quite often folks will say, if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. And I do think we are on the path to go far together.
Now, Angela, you are a widow, and you are a widow twice. Um, so, did you still want love even after having been married, losing both husbands, unfortunately, to I believe some sickness? So, what about you in terms of did you always want to get married again anyway?
Well, I mean, I am a Christian, so I do believe in love. I do believe in matrimony. I do believe in monogamy. So marriage was definitely a goal, um, to be able to live the type of life and the type of lifestyle that is, conducive to my spirituality. And yes, that was very important to me. Trusting in God and realizing that my prior husbands had, gone on and fulfilled their mission, but there was apparently still something left for me to do. And I'm very, very happy that the Lord brought Antley into my life so that we can proceed together in talking to people and reaching people. We have such a lovely opportunity in the broadcast media with WGCD 104.5. We have a show that's on Sundays out of Chester, South Carolina. And we are doing now Sundays with the Statens. And I am just so happy to be able to continue to be an inspiration, to be a hope. I mean, there are so many of us who have lived through grief, who have lived through this pandemic, and there is still something to do and something to live for. We see a lot of things happening in society right now with desperation, with despair, with suicide. We as Christians know that there is a hope beyond this world. And that is a reason to be here and to speak out and to inspire others.
Okay. Now, I'm going to, um, and everything that you're saying is so true. But Antley, I got to pick on you again. So
Okay.
you go on this site. You go on this site. Chances are you have probably scrolled through, looked at different ladies, you know, and then bam, I want to meet this person. So initially you didn't know anything about her. All you
No.
saw was probably a photo, maybe a short bio or something. Um, but what caused you to pick Angela out of everyone maybe that you were looking at? What did it for you?
Uh, I got to be honest, Unc. Uh, I didn't know. I didn't do anything. My friend, my classmate, LaCrystal Jackson, went online and created me a profile. I didn't have nothing. I didn't know how to. I didn't know how to log in or anything. I didn't do anything. She created a profile and she did the connections. I didn't know anything. All she did was say, Antley, I think I got the right person for you. And we had changed phone numbers. And February the 28th, 2021. No. Excuse me.
Yes,
It was January.
right.
It was January, Friday night at 9 o'clock, because New York Undercover was coming on BET. And I love New York Undercover. And I was so excited it was coming back on TV. But as soon as 9 o'clock, she called me. And thank God for my DVR, because I never did watch the show. It recorded itself. And we talked, about 1 o'clock? that morning from 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Hung up, got 2 hours of sleep, called her back at 4 o'clock, and talked to her like 7. That was it. So I did not know what she looked like.
Oh my!
I had no idea. I didn't meet her until that 2 Saturdays. She called me and saying that she had to wash some clothes. I think her pipes had frozen on the washing machine. Am I telling it right? And I said, come on down here. We can go to the laundromat and wash clothes together. I didn't think she was gonna go for it, but 2.5 hours later, she come knocking on my door, and that was it. History was made.
Oh my goodness! I have to write that one down. I got to write that one down. I never that. Come on, we can let me write that one down. Come on, we can do laundry together. I've never heard
it worked
that
though.
one.
It
Well,
worked.
that was real.
It worked.
You know, I mean, we were in the midst of a pandemic, so
Yeah.
talking to people and meeting folks, and you're looking at like a checklist. Okay, so we need to meet in the daytime. We need to meet someplace public. We need to meet someplace where there's cameras, and then you're also trying to be practical. You know, I am a busy person. I work full time. I had a part time, and you know, balancing and managing bills. It's like you want to meet people, but at the same time, you don't want to waste time. So, in the practical sense, I said, you know, the worst thing that could happen is that I'll end up with some clean laundry. And ended up meeting someone and starting with a whole clean slate.
Okay. Antley, I'm going to put you on a spot here. Let me say this. And my big sister, I call her my big sister. My big sister, Mary, and she just says it is meant to be. It was meant to be. My big sister down in Texas. Um, um, okay, now I want you to tell the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth, Anthony. So I say I'm going to put you on the spot. What I simply mean by that is I'm going to isolate you away from the two of us, and I'm going to ask you this question. Okay. So
all right.
here goes. Anthony, I occasionally get asked this question, and they'll say, Apostle, what kind of woman are you looking for? Anthony, what kind of woman were you looking for?
Wow. What kind of woman am I looking for? I put on the spot. Okay. Well, one, she had to be a God-fearing woman.
Everybody,
2,
say that
she
again.
had to be a people person, because you know my family. You are my family. We people.
Yes.
You know, we hang around people. We out there. So it had to be a public person, somebody, you know. I mean, God fearing, people person, and someone who knew me. You know, so that was it. Somebody that my mother would enjoy, as far as having a daughter-in-law, somebody who get along with my family. And I'll say when I introduced Angela to my family, all I got was a thumbs up. Angela, don't mess this up, bro. You got a good one here, bro. Don't mess it up. Everybody was telling me that.
Don't mess it
up. Don't mess up. That's what they told me. Don't mess it up. So
okay, great. Keep going.
No, I was saying, 96 days in a day, She's still with me 96 days a day. And she's still with me, so I must be doing something right.
You know what? Let me tell you, Antley, I'm going to take notes from you. You even know that I gotta let me write some notes. Wow. he knows the day. I'm telling you, probably
Hey,
99% of men don't even know how many days. But Anthony knows even how many days. Well,
96
it's
days.
your turn. It is your
96
turn.
days a day.
Wow. Wow. Well, Angela, it is your turn now to be put on the spot because you had been married twice. Are you comfortable in sharing
Yes,
how
I'm
long were
fine.
you married in each marriage?
Yes, my first husband I married when I was 22. We were together for 19 years. He passed. He had early onset of Alzheimer's. He was about 8 years older than I was. My second husband, we were married for almost 8 years, and he had cancer. So I have been married for just about half of my life. Antley is indeed a bit younger than I am. But, generally, my friends were, commenting that I usually date older. And they're like, if you keep that up, you're going to have to start looking for him in the nursing home. So, therefore, I, the decision to actually kind of open up the my profile, because again, in looking on a dating site, it allows you to screen out, say atheist or agnostic, undecided, and you can also screen by age group. And I wasn't really looking for someone younger at first, but that conversation I had with my girlfriend kind of changed my mind. And yeah. Otherwise, I would have filtered out a really wonderful mate.
So, so then, if someone prior to you meeting Antley, if someone would have asked you, okay, what kind of man are you looking for? What would you have said?
Well, at the time, I really was thinking older, because I do like someone who's kind of has their own ideas and is really, you know, a little bit more of a guide, so to speak. But now that I am indeed an adult, I've worked many jobs, hold many degrees, as well as many licenses. Um, I am well qualified to be a partner. And that is one of the things that I am most excited about, is being able to share and to continue to grow. Not necessarily someone who is so set in their ways that they can't change or they can't learn or they can't experience new things, because that is something that I'm really excited about doing with my new husband.
Wow, that is that's great. And when Antley comes on, I have a question for Antley, and this is from someone that knows you, knows both of you. But Antley, they wanted to know this. I wonder, after 48 years of being single, what is the hardest adjustment in married life? Antley, um, how would you answer that?
The hardest part. Um, I guess the hardest part is trying to get out the single life. I mean, right. I've been single for 40, let's say 47 years. So, now that I'm married, Well, I've been working from home for 2 years, for 3 years now, working from home. But back in the early days, when, before COVID, we were out there. I had no reason to go home because I didn't have nobody to go home to. But now I do have somebody to go home to. Um, you know, I don't have to eat in my bedroom anymore because I got a wife and I can hit my kitchen table whenever it get cleaned off. Um, you know, when I go to the grocery store, I have to shop for two people instead of one. So it was a little adjustment of going from single to married. So, and after 90, 95 days, I think I pretty much got it around. I think I got it pretty much down packed now. After 95 days, I got it pretty much packed. All the single is gone now. It took me first 30 days was kind of rough. What is she doing here? Oh, that's right. I'm
Okay,
married
well,
now. Like, yeah. It took me a minute to adjust, but I'm adjusting pretty well.
okay.
We,
Angela, did you have to pull him in because was there any part of your husband that you had to say, you're married now, you're no longer single? Did you experience any of that singleness that was still in him? I mean, 47 years is a long time.
it is, and yeah, there's still some residue there, to say the least. Um, it is much more a process of pulling him out of doing things that are single and solitary, where he wants to just watch what he wants to watch or just listen to what he wants to listen to, as opposed to taking some time to consider what we might both enjoy together. I'm not saying he can't ever watch, his own individual programming or his own individual movies, but there we do need to kind of develop a schedule of time where we do embrace things that are each other's. So, instead of just pass the mic, how about pass the remote control?
Okay, so I guess when I get married, I probably should leave my television or give it away instead of bringing it with me so I can watch my particular shows that I've been watching for
She
19
doesn't watch
years.
TV. Uh,
That's a good point.
she doesn't watch live TV. She listens to the Breakfast Club and the YouTube videos where I am a TV person. I like my live news. I know she could call me old fashioned. I like them old fashioned shows, but she don't watch TV at all. I mean, she has a TV in her room, but all she does is watch Netflix and the Breakfast Club and YouTube videos while I'm in the live TV. So that's
And
that's
all of
it.
that is perfectly fine.
Any
There just needs to be a time that we set up to share, where we get to experience some things together. You know, a little bit of yours, a little bit of mine. And doesn't mean that you have to give up live television. Doesn't mean that I have to give up enjoying things on YouTube. It means that as we come together, we need to be able to share some things together so we can have conversation together.
and
I
so what
admit,
was the adjustment for you? Uh-huh.
I watch in the heat of the night
You gonna say
faithfully.
something, Antley?
Yeah, I watch in the heat of the night faithfully. She didn't watch the show, but one trip to Georgia, to Covington, Georgia, where the show was filmed at, and she met one of the actresses who came to our wedding on and so now
Yeah.
we do enjoy watching the heat of the night together. Because now that she done been there, I showed her the houses and the actors and the places they meet. So now when I'm on my lunch, when she's on her lunch break, She comes in the living room I'm working at, and she be like, "Oh yeah, you know what? I remember that you took me there." So we do have one show that we can watch together.
Okay. Um, um,
And
so
absolutely, I
my
enjoy
friend,
your nostalgia, and you know we took you up to Mayberry, where
Oh yeah,
Andy
yes,
Griffith was filmed for your
yeah,
birthday.
you did,
But
you
you know
did.
there needs to come a time where you go and experience some things that I'd like to see and that I'd like to enjoy as well.
Okay.
and I remember seeing some of those photos also of places that you went. I thought it was very interesting. Um, and so my friend John G. Watch a program with quality time together and great conversation is
Mm-hmm.
is what is what one of the individuals said. So somebody when they found out that you met on a dating site, they were like a dating site.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I guess she is probably not sure about it. But what would you say about the dating site? Would you recommend it? What advice would you give if someone tries a dating site? What would you say to them?
It worked for me. It worked for me. First time, first time using it, and look what I got. And so I was say, it worked. It did its job.
Well, I would certainly say, for certainly for a female to be cautious, and there are some like warnings on there. You do want to meet someone during the day. You want to have backup. You want to drive your own vehicle. You want to be responsible. You want to take some general precautions for your safety if you are going to meet someone in person after just having some conversations over the internet or over the telephone. But, when you do come across somebody who's genuine in the information that they put out about themselves, you can save some time. Like I said, I was not interested in dating an atheist or an agnostic or someone who was spiritually undecided. I definitely knew that I wanted a Christian person in my life. I wanted someone who was African American, who shared the same culture and values that I do. I mean, there's nothing wrong with other cultures, but when you have a joy and a commonality, um, it makes life easier.
Wow, that's great. So it's really important to therefore know what you want, and it also sounds like don't compromise those things that you want. It sounds like you're also saying.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I guess so. James Robinson says, "I see you."
That's my soup man right there. That chicken man. That's my soup man right there.
Okay,
He been knowing me since I
all
was a
right,
kid.
And a very fine
okay.
person that is also married and has been for me. There's another great example.
Mm-hmm.
Understanding that the people that are in your circle, who are pulling for you, that they have again the same goals and mindset and values that you do, makes your life easy.
Were you nervous about meeting Antley's mother?
I have to admit, I was definitely a bit taken back, because it's not often you meet someone, mom, on the front page of their Facebook page. Um, but again, because I had been dating gentlemen that were much older, most of them did not have parents that were still living. So that was very interesting. She is a pastor. She is a dynamic woman of God. So it was very exciting to meet her as well.
Okay. Well, mom is on,
Oh,
and
Mama said she didn't know about the dating site.
and she. Oh, so does
Mama,
that mean
I
you don't
told you,
tell
Mama.
mom everything?
I told Mama that, she getting kind of old. She might have forgot. But I told her that. I told her. And did I tell her, Angela?
Okay.
I think we told her, didn't we?
I don't recall that conversation, but your mom has a very excellent memory. She keeps track
Yeah.
of all of the sheep in her flock, so you might have just brushed over that part.
Okay. All right. But look, a year and a half later, it worked out. So,
Well,
Mama, don't worry about it, Mama.
I have another question, and actually, your mom does not know this yet, but I do want to interview your mom, and
Okay.
Pastor Staten. I want to interview her. So, you're actually hearing why I'm going to want to interview you, because I want to introduce. I'm changing the subject just for a second,
Okay.
because I want to talk to pastors, and I want to talk. I want pastors to talk about the joy and the challenges of pastoring in today's time. Now, Antley, I'm going to also have you back on, but this time with your cousin Stephanie, because I want the two of you to talk about growing up as a pastor's child. So my daughter and you would represent. So the two of you are going to come back again and
Okay.
talk about that. But Pastor, uh,
Not a
Pastor
problem.
Sylvia, I want to have you on because I'm going to have someone who is an overseer in a different country in Africa. I won't say what country it is, and he's going to come on Wednesday, and he's going to talk about pastoring in another country. And I want you, Pastor Sylvia, to represent pastoring in America, and especially because she has traveled even throughout the world. So I believe that's going to be a very interesting conversation. So you're hearing it now, Pastor Staten, but yes, I do have that in mind. So Anthony says, I met my wife on a bus tour to Niagara Falls while
Yeah.
in Canada. Oh my
Yep.
goodness. All of these ideas that you guys have given me, the laundromat. Oh, meet me at the laundromat. Even though I have a washing machine and dryer here, I'm going to use that line. We could wash
Hey.
our clothes together. That's smooth.
Now, don't forget now, when you bring
Real,
it to the house, now you
real
got to
smooth.
hide it now. I did not have a washing machine and dryer, so I was
All
used to going to the
right.
laundromat. She had one, but her pipes were frozen,
Uh-huh.
so I compromised. I
Okay.
think I even paid for it,
All
didn't
right.
I?
And I
We
say
we,
that
we
again.
split it. We went Dutch.
Did we split the bill?
We
Okay.
did.
Okay, we split the bill. Okay, that's right.
but that's an
Okay.
important thing when you're
And
meeting and
and Pastor
dating. I,
Satan.
I, I want to give Anthony compliments meeting his wife on the bus, because that's prime time for a nice long conversation while somebody else is doing the driving. That is a good idea.
Yes. Wow, that's fantastic. So, okay, I guess I'll have to down book a Greyhound ticket somewhere. And see, let me stop because I'll get myself in trouble from those that are going to see what I am saying. Um, but wow, that's great. The different ways that people meet their spouses. I have another question by someone, and
Okay.
so here is their and this question is from Denise. Denise Baxter, and a question for Antley and Angela. Sister Angela, after losing two husbands, were you looking to marry again? So that's part of the question. I'll let you answer that first before I go on. Well,
Switch me out.
okay. Well, we will wait for her to come back on. Um,
Okay.
yes. So she wants to know whether or not she was looking to marry again. So until she comes back on, um, um, Antley, what would you say to those men that are still single and maybe they're in their 30s and 40s and they may wonder, am I ever going to get married? What advice would you give them?
Let's see. Um, the advice I would give them is don't give up. I mean, as I done learned, it's someone out there for it's someone out there for everybody. It's someone out there for everybody. It just might take you 48, 40, 49, 50 years before you find them, but they're out there. You know, that's all I can say. Don't give up. Don't give up. So
Yes, that's
it's somebody out there for everybody. Might take you 2 times. You got to kiss a lot of, well, let me see. You might have to kiss a lot of frogs before you find your prince or princess. So don't give up. Don't give
that's
up.
good. Through you may go through a lot of frogs before you
Hmm.
meet your princess.
Right.
Wow. And I guess we can reverse that, ladies. You also may meet a lot of frogs
Right.
before you actually meet meet your prince.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that's that is really good. Anthony, if you are still on, who met your wife on a bus tour, um, Anthony, what advice would you give men that are looking? That's if you're still on. Um, what advice would you give? So Anthony said, when my wife and I got married,
Huh?
I was 55 years old, and my wife
Come
was
on.
63 when we got married. Um, okay, so we're going to talk from this point. Um, okay,
Yeah,
that's good.
she said she
Uh,
lost signal in her room. I think she just missed me, just wanted to be near me.
Aw.
So we're gonna talk about a lot of other people that they
she's,
watching us.
she missed you. Well, I like what you said, Anthony. I'm going to repeat what he said. Um, when my wife and I got married, I was 55 years old, and my wife was 63 when we got married. So it's
Hmm.
too never too late at all. You know what I
Absolutely. And the
want to know.
Tedeschi's are a
Um,
beautiful couple. They were at our wedding.
Hmm. They came all the way from
Rhode Island.
Rhode Island for our wedding. Flew in 2 days early, so they
wow,
wouldn't miss nothing. Yeah.
Wow. And now 5 years later, we are happily married. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So there's hope. There's hope for Steve Lane. There is,
Right.
Absolutely.
there is, and there's hope for others. So let me continue with the question from Denise. Thank you, and for sharing. And I would just say, and I would say also to Pastor Staten, to Anthony and his wife, also to the two of you. I think the real challenge is being set in your ways, and listen, I'm now divorced, and I've been divorced twice, so I'm divorced from your aunt 19 years and 16 years, and so yeah, to just come and go as I please. I don't have to answer to anyone. Um, hey, I go, I come, I do what I want to do. I think that that's going to probably be the big adjustment, not having to answer. What do you mean? Where am I going? What do you mean? When am I coming back? Um,
Or
uh,
what do you mean? How much
what
did
do you
I
mean? I have to
spend?
answer. I'm sorry. Say that again.
Or what do you mean? How much did I spend?
Yeah. Every time I go out,
Uh-huh.
she asks
Yes.
me, "When you coming back? And how much money you spent?" That takes some adjusting to get to.
Right, right. Wow. Well, let me continue with this question, and I want to say to Martha Mills Clark, and she is one of my heroes because um, I I believe that she's the oldest member of the community of Believers Global Ministry at 85 years old, and
Wow.
her husband also had passed away, and so she found love again, and I
Glory to God.
was able to go to the wedding, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you ever saw Sister Martha Mills Clark uh, and her husband, they look great together. You would never know that she is 80 years old, and every time, and I love her age, I love her wisdom that comes with the age. I just actually love how she addresses issues. But I remember the Lord told me to tell her, and I'm going to say it again. Stop saying, "Oh, I'm getting old now. I'm too old for this and too old for that." The Lord said, "Tell them to stop saying that because it is the Lord that is the one that empowers people. So stop saying, 'Oh,
That's
I'm getting
right.
too
The
old
power
now.'
of life
As a matter
and
of
death
fact,
is in the tongue. We have to speak the things that we want
absolutely,
into existence.
yes, yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I tell people that listen, I'm hoping that whoever will be my wife, that she's going to have to be able to keep up with me, because I feel energetic, and so often we don't feel our age. As you know, I'll be 65 years old in November. But hey,
Bless the
I'm
Lord.
out there with my new leg and just out there walking. And so, yes, we will stop saying I'm getting old. Let me get back to this question. So, Sister
Steve Lane
Angela,
is more like Steve Austin. Bionic. Mm.
well, yes, we're gonna accept that. I accept that. So here's a question, Sister Angela. After losing two husbands, were you looking to marry again?
Absolutely. I really believe in marriage. I believe in matrimony. I believe in monogamy. I'm a Christian and I wanted to have a monogamous lifestyle. So marriage was definitely very, very important to me.
Okay, I want to go on and continue what she is saying. And Deaconess Deacon Martha Mills Clark, she says, yes, 7 years married, this past May. Thank you for sharing that. I was wondering how long it has been. Wow, 7 years. That is great. Denise went on to say, since I hit my 50s and people were asking me if I wanted to get married, since I have never been married, I always stated I don't know because I am set in my ways. Do you want to respond to that before I read the rest of what she said? She said, I
Well,
don't
I
know if I
mean,
want to get
but
married.
the
Set in my
person you're referring to is a female, and there is a certain amount of, yielding, that is kind of necessary in our spiritual walk to complement another person. And there is a certain level of submissiveness that is required for marriage. Um, I I don't believe everyone is willing to give up the level of free will that God has granted us. I mean, He's given it to us, He's given us a gift, but sometimes you do have to give that gift away. And that is challenging.
Okay, now you spoke in code. So I'm going to ask you questions. Number one, what do you mean by submissive? What do you mean when you use that word in your sentence?
When I mean, that means you're going to have to talk to your spouse. You're going to have to give in to what they want to do sometimes. And of course, they're going to need to give in to what you want to do sometimes. But it's not going to be 100% his way or 100% your way. There's got to be some give and take when you are with a mate.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. So let me continue on with what she is saying. So she said, I don't know because I'm set in my ways. So my thought is this may cause problems in marriage. That's her. That is her thoughts. That she's set in her ways, and she's afraid that if she meets someone wants to get married, that that's going to cause problems. What are your thoughts in response to that statement?
She's absolutely right and accurate. I mean, I'm 100% in favor of premarital counseling so that you can look at things that are important to you as well as things that are important to him. That you can have lists, that you can prioritize, that just like at work, you can give yourself a progress report, so you can know how you're coming along. It is not instant. This is not a microwave uh, marriage. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't just instantly happen. Some things are going to have to be prepped and washed, rinsed, stewed, wash, rinse, repeat, stewed, stirred. Well, yes, the potter has to put them back together again. So it's important to recognize it's not a walk of perfection.
Oh, wow, okay, so let's wait for them to come back on. I'm going to continue, Denise, with your questions. And by the way, if anyone has a question, just feel free to type your question, and I will ask them your question. Okay, so I'm waiting for them to
We
come
back.
back. Okay, so yes, continue what you were saying, and you were talking code again when you said wash and rinse and iron. Can you break that down?
Yes. I mean, you're going to try things that are new, that are different, and find out that you like them and say, okay, we can do this again. And you are going to try things and do things that you don't like and say, you know what? We've been there, done that, and we don't want to do this again. So it's a process of learning each other. But if you love someone and you care about them and you want to share your life with them, then you're going to be willing to make that sacrifice. And sometimes the sacrifice is the thing that you want to do. There's only 24 hours in a day. If he wants to go to this event, you want to go to that event, sometimes you might go separately, and sometimes you'll sacrifice your event to go and be with him. And sometimes he will sacrifice his event to go and be with you. But there's got to be a certain element of give and take in order for a marriage to make.
He wants to go see that Barbie movie. I want to go see Indiana Jones. I'm going to see Indiana Jones, and she's going to go see Barbie. See, we what's the word you just said? Compromise. You go see your movie, I go see my movie. You get your popcorn, I have my popcorn. We good to go.
And sometimes
Okay.
you'll get a chance to go see things together. But yeah, in regards to those two particular movies, not so much. Maybe in August when Equalizer 3 comes out, we can go together and see Denzel.
Well, Denzel in it? Denzel's in the movie?
Equalizer 3.
Denzel Washington?
Yes.
Okay, I'm down with that. Then I got DW. I can see to go DW now. Ain't no problem there. Okay, that's the key word right there, DW. No problem.
I'm sort of thinking though, and this is just me. I'm sort of thinking that when the time comes that if my wife or my companion says, "Come on, come see Barbie with me," I even though it's something I may not want to do, I sort of think that I probably will do it if that's what she wants. Okay, I'm getting some comments here, so let me first finish with Denise. Denise says, "How did you and your husband overcome each other's habits?"
I got a lifetime to deal with them habits. A
Yeah.
lifetime. We ain't done yet.
No, we are still in prayer. Please be patient with me. God is not through with me yet. We both have habits that the other doesn't care for, and we are working on it. It's a daily process. Prayer helps, and more prayer, less violence.
There you go. There you go. So you got to live past the habits.
Okay. Well, Sister Denise, and she's on, so she's listening to your responses. Sister Denise says that marriage in your senior years is not a walk of perfection. It takes some washing, rinsing. The potter needs to make you over again. It is a sacrifice and give and take. And she's quoting you actually.
Oh, I heard that before. She's quoting you. Okay.
Right. Yes. So she's.
It is a process, but it's a process that's worthy. It's worth it. You know, God is a potter. I mean, He's bringing together the water and the clay. I mean, two distinct and individual things to make something else that's even better.
Wow, that's great. uh, I do have this. I do have this idea, and this is where I'm at. Um, and that is, I want to have. So let me know if what I am saying is realistic. See that you're married, newly married. But I want to have the marriage type of marriage that we want to have. I don't want my marriage compared to anyone else. I want to have the marriage that her and I that we have agreed to, and so if somebody says that's what you do in your marriage, oh, I don't do that in my marriage. It doesn't matter because as long as we are in agreement that this is what we want that is all that matters. So how would you respond to that?
Oh, absolutely right. I mean, if you have an idea, then you need to sculpt out and have a plan. One of the nicest things that we took part in our premarital counseling was putting together a vision board with pictures and ideas about what we wanted so that we could talk about it, that we could look at it, we could think about it. I mean, it is very important to have those elements so that you're clear and on the same page.
What she said.
Okay, let's continue because I'm going to get backed up with some of the comments. The comments are starting to come in.
Okay.
And Trudy says, prophetess Trudy, she says, she says, very good point. Some are not willing to give up their free will. What I've learned about submission is that it works best when I do it as unto the Lord. When I've released the demands, requests, needs, etc. of my husband to the Lord, literally do it as unto the Lord, it becomes easier to submit, give into him as I would do unto the Lord. Willingness to make the sacrifice was easier for me when I literally did it as unto the Lord. I think that is a very good point. Any comments that you want to make on that?
You know, it is very profound. I mean, when we think about do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is the golden rule. But I mean, even that step further of serving Christ. You know, you're not going to have an attitude and be mean and be disrespectful if you are serving our Savior. So really recognizing the glory, the goodness, the grace that God has extended to us, then of course we should extend that to our partner and to continually be renewing our mind, thinking about that level of service. And you know, service is ministry to each other because you know this marriage is the first institution ordained by God.
What she said.
Now you don't. What she said. Of course, in this situation, you don't have a blended family that you that you're bringing children in from one side to the next. You, you don't, Antley, you don't have any children. Do you have any children, Angela? Okay,
No, I
so
do not.
in
I have a
terms of
younger brother who's 35. My brother was born when I was 16. So, I mean, he's the closest that I have to children, but I don't have any.
okay, Now, I want to just jump to this, and then I'm going to come back to Pastor Staten. But Deacon Martha, I'm so used to calling Deacon, but Deacon's Martha, she said, in terms of the habits, in terms of overcoming each other's habits, her response is, that's a tough one. Overcoming habits at 77 or any age is not easy.
That's true.
That is,
and some things you have to get to a point where you said, okay, do I love this person enough to deal with this habit, or is this a deal breaker? Kind of going back to the dating side. I mean, smoking was a deal breaker for me. I didn't want someone who smoked cigarettes or any other thing. So that was something I filtered out. So habits are definitely a challenge. But if you love someone, and it's, whether, some challenges that may be physical or mental, those are the things that, that someone doesn't necessarily have control over, but you love them and you're willing to work with them. Those are some of the things that you do because you love them.
What she said.
yes. Let me just reread a part of a sentence, and then Pastor Satan responded. So, Sister Denise said, marriage in your senior years is not a walk of perfection. So that's what she had said. Now, Pastor Staten said, perfection in the Greek means mature. So that's what perfection. Yeah, no one is perfect, but we all mature. Even in Christ, we'll never be perfect, but you continue to mature. Pastor Staten went on to say, Bob Marley said, if she's amazing, she won't be easy. Oh, I got to read that again. If she's amazing, she won't be easy. And if she's easy, she won't be amazing. Amazing will require work and sacrifice. I want to read that one more time.
Bob Marley's an amazing artist.
Okay. Yes. Bob Marley. Go ahead, Mama.
Well, those pastors, they all have a secret life.
She has.
Yeah, they don't show you all the cards in pulpit, but so let me read this again. Bob Marley said, if she's amazing, she won't be easy. And if she's easy, she won't be amazing. Amazing will require work and sacrifice,
And I'm definitely working and sacrificing, trust me. I'm definitely working and sacrificing.
And yes, but with no sacrifice, there is no growth. And with no growth, there's no success.
What she said.
But yeah, and Sister Retta, she says, I'm sorry, she was saying amen to something, but amen, congratulations, may God continue to bless you, to bless your marriage, and blessings to both of you. And
thank you.
Sister Arthur says, exactly, it does take sacrifice, so that is it. What are your goals in terms of marriage both more marriage growth and have you talked about where would you like to be in your marriage in the short distance, let's say by the end of the year, in a little longer distance, where would you like to see yourself in 2 years as a married couple?
I'll let you answer that one.
No, go ahead. Go first this time.
Oh,
I will submit and allow you to put in your submission.
so where I want to be in 2 years. I see myself in a bigger house right now, and probably doing what I love to do, which is being on the radio full time with her. See, I didn't get this radio gig until I married her, so she's been my good luck charm. People been telling me for years that I have a radio voice, and you should be on the radio. Well, as soon as I married her, I got a job being on the radio. So, you know, she's a keeper. She's a keeper. So hopefully in a bigger house
She's a
and on the
keeper.
radio full time, getting paid to be on the radio. That's why I see myself in 2 years, if she allow me to.
Okay.
Well,
Your
I
thoughts,
certainly see us
Angela?
working towards those goals, and and most of that requires some sacrifice, some work. Building up our time, our credit, our focus on the things that we would like to have together. But all things are possible with God.
Okay. Wow. That is fantastic. Who's the cook in the house?
I enjoy cooking, and surprisingly enough, Antley hardly knows what a great cook I am. At one point, I had worked for a senior facility. I used to cook literally like 5 meals and snacks for 12 people every single day, 7 days a week. I can cook, but his taste is very selective. And I would much rather cook for him than have him eat out all the time, especially if he wants to save for a new house. So that's where the compromise comes in.
You
She
know,
cooks
one
it
of the
how you.
things that you just said, okay. One of the things that I believe that we need to recognize our strengths and our areas that we're not that strong in. So,
Mm-hmm.
if, as an example, if my wife is a better budgeter than I am, then okay, let you do the budget.
And that's what she
And in
does.
the area, okay, so that would be gangster. So I think that is important to really
I
lean
don't
on the strength.
I don't get paid anymore. When I get paid on payday, she gets the money. She pays the bills. The lights is still on. I got food in the refrigerator. I got gas in my car. I get an allowance. She's saving money. I'm happy.
Okay, I don't know if I want all the other ladies to hear that.
Well, hey,
That you
hey.
literally give your check over to
Well,
now.
no, I mean,
That
I
alone,
don't give her. I don't give her my check, but I pay my bills. What she tell me I can pay, and she take care of the rest. We got money saved up. I mean, you gotta know like you said, you gotta know your strengths and your weaknesses. Me, I ain't saying I'm good with money, but as far as the budget, oh, but guess what though? She's perfect with the budget. Now, me, my strength is being on time. We gotta compromise on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Uh,
She don't like being on time.
that's it's not that I
That's,
don't like being on time, but yeah, time is kind of a window. I think you should have a bit of grace and allowance.
church starts at 11 o'clock. She want to get to 11:05.
We'll be
Me,
there at 11 o'clock. Now, we might be in the parking lot, but
see
we'll
what I
be
mean?
there.
Me being a PK, we'll say that for the next conversation. But me being a PK, I was always taught to be on time. Be there early.
The bills are on time.
Be there early. If service started at 11, I want to be there at 10:45. That's just the old PK in me. You know, on the job, I'm always 15 minutes early. That's me. But like I said, we got to compromise on that. I drive, she ride, we be on time. Got to compromise.
Okay. Yeah, some people probably would not believe me at all, but yeah, I'm sort of the same way. Um, I'd like to, if I'm going to be late, let me be late on my accord. I don't want to be late because the person made me late, having to wait for them. So let me be late on my own accord. Um, Prophet Yolanda said that this is how her second marriage was, that she was the one that managed the money. I do believe
Mm-hmm.
that you go with the person who is stronger, because you're only going to be better at it. And my big sister, Mary Ruiz, she says compromise is the word. Yes,
Yep.
compromise is the word.
Compromise.
I want and we're not going to be that much longer, but I want to go back to Sister Denise. Sister Denise, I don't know if you are on the line, but um, I, I I want you to kind of coach, give Sister Denise some advice. I don't know if she's on the line. I'm waiting for her to maybe to say I am here. Um, but even if she isn't, then she could listen to the replay. But so Sister Denise is in her. Oh, okay. So she says that I'm still on. Okay, so Sister Denise is still on. So I want you to talk to my friend, Sister Denise Baxter, and she has a heart, really. And this is not my point, but she has a heart for the homeless people. Very, very hard for them. But she admits that she's kind of set in her ways, and she kind of feels that. And as I said, she's saying that I'm still on, and so she kind of feels that that may be a challenge because she is set in her ways. Um, so, what could you say to her to help her to realize that it's not that bad? How can she open herself up to love, to maybe compromise? What would you say to my friend Denise?
I would certainly say recognizing what we see and have read and experienced of God and His love. I mean, Song of Solomon is so beautiful in love, but we are often almost more gravitate towards the opposite thing. If we don't love, if we take on the stubbornness of Pharaoh and harden our heart, because that's the opposite of softening your heart, of submitting, of loving and giving, it is to harden your heart. That was not a good outcome for Pharaoh. That is not what God called us to do. And if we have that love and compassion, if we recognize the love and compassion that God has shown us, that Christ has shown us, that the Holy Spirit has come to dwell within us, the Holy Spirit can't dwell within a hard heart. It's a process. It's not easy to give up things. We are people, and in our nature and in our free will, we want to keep everything that's given to us. But the truest example of love is giving it away.
Okay. what she said.
Okay, I don't. Okay. Now, is there anything else that maybe you thought of that maybe you want to share again? Maybe you want to emphasize. Is there anything that came to you that maybe you forgot to say? I want to give you that opportunity.
Go ahead, babe.
You go ahead. You could speak on my words.
No, you can speak
Don't
your
ever
own
give
words.
up. It ain't never too late. Remember, Abraham was 100. Well, how old was Abraham when he got married?
No, that was when they had the baby.
Okay. Well, they had to be pretty old then, right? They had a baby at 100, right?
Yes.
All right. So look, like Abraham, he was like what, 80 years old when he got married, at 100 when he had the baby. So hey, don't ever give up. Age ain't nothing but a number. Mama, that was Monica Monique that said that. Age ain't nothing but a number. So
That was Aaliyah.
Aaliyah, okay. Aaliyah said age ain't nothing but a number. So it ain't never too late. You ain't never too old. That's me. That's just me being me.
Recognize
Anything?
that God has a plan and a purpose for you and for your life. And if you are leaning into that instead of your own understanding, you are going to be happy. You are going to get the joy and the benefit.
And then you will enjoy the
Wow.
benefits.
Well,
The benefits are good.
Yeah.
did you ever think about children? And what I mean by children, whether it is just even if it's adopting, or have you uh, have you ever thought about that?
Well, Andy has some wonderful nieces and nephews. I have 10 nieces and nephews of my own, of various ages and states around the country. But, never say never. I mean, we just don't know what the Lord has in store for us.
If it happens, it happens.
Oh,
If it
okay.
happens, it happens. If the Lord
Tell
say
us.
yes, then let it be done.
Okay. Tell us about your radio program. I know you said it earlier, but now you can slow it down and just tell us a little bit more about it, what it's about, what you do. I know you mentioned when it comes on, but share that again, please.
We are the WGCD 104.5 out of Chester, South Carolina. But you can listen to us online at www.wgcdfm.com. We were on Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., but we were able, the general manager moved us to Sundays with the Statens from 3 to 6 p.m. on Sundays. So if you're in the area, in Rock Hill, Chester, York, Lancaster, or online, you can hear it. We actually will be going live tomorrow for the first time on Sundays. We will be going live, and on Sunday it's all gospel. So I'm real. Thank you. She put it in the chat already. I wouldn't have gotten that job if I hadn't met her. And it's funny, they pursued her first before they came to me. They wanted her voice for commercials. So actually, she got the job. I was a part of the benefit that came with the package. So I'm on the radio now because of her. So I love it.
And I love being with my
Well, there
spouse. We
is.
are the Super Statens, Sundays on WGCD 104.5 FM. And we are looking for pastors, for ministers, and for businesses that would like to be on the radio too. All you'll need to do is send us an email at wgcdfm@gmail.com, and we can let you know what you would need to do so you could be on the radio too.
See what I mean? It worked out perfectly like that.
Well, that is great, and I just want to read what Sister Denise had said, and um, Sister Denise had said that I hear and I understand. One must be willing to let go of some things in a relationship to receive the benefits. And I said, speak to my friend. And so she says, I hear and I understand. You can actually read
Now,
what
now
she
I
had
wouldn't
said.
say
So,
I wouldn't necessarily give it up, but don't give it up all. Don't give it up. Just compromise on when you can do it. I'm just gonna be honest. I hate sunflower seeds, but she loves them. She buys them by the packs. I can't stand them, but we compromise. She eats them in her room, away from me. She's happy. I'm happy. So I ain't tell her to don't eat it no more. Give up sunflower seeds. I don't want to see them. No, we just compromise. She don't eat them when she's around me. That way I ain't got to smell them get sick. And we compromise. So I don't now she wants me to get rid of my cable. Well,
No,
we're gonna compromise.
I would like to save $1,200 a year. It's not so much that I don't want you to watch television. You can watch all the television you like. I just like you to watch it for less money.
Well, we have compromised. I pay the cable bill out of my own pocket. We should compromise. So I don't have to give it up. We just talked about it. We should compromise. I keep my cable.
We did lower the package.
And I still kept the same channels I watched. So I don't have to give it up.
We did have to cut it down, though.
Yes,
and I'm thinking that, okay, well, there's the compromising, but I think that what Sister Denise was saying when she said, I hear and I understand, one must be willing to let go of some things in a relationship to receive the blessing. And you know, the truth is, listen, we all come with something. You know, we call it baggage, we call it luggage.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, in order to receive the benefits of it, you know, you can't be a person that is going to be controlling. You know, you're going to have to let that go in order to receive the benefits that is waiting for you. So, yeah, um, if you want to receive the benefits, there may be some things that we bring into it that we never would challenge. We never had to give it up because, hey, this is how, you know, I have been. But yes, exactly. If you want to receive the benefits, then I'm just using the example of being a controller. Someone else may have anger issues, you know, and a person does have to, if they want to receive the benefits of it, they're going to have to work on, let's say, anger or the controlling issues. Yes, what would you like to say?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, you know, if you close yourself up, yes, you can be strong and be powerful, but you can't receive until you open up. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said for receiving.
She was kind of scared me with that fist. I said,
Well, I'm excited. Someone wants to know. Someone wants to know, only if you want to share. Someone wants to know the age difference because, Sister Angela, you said, I'm used to someone older, you know, not necessarily younger. Is there really that much of an age difference? And you don't
No,
have to
what?
say it's up to you.
Antley is 4 years younger than I am, but
Okay.
my prior spouses, there was an 8-year difference and there was a 12-year difference.
Older than you. they were just older and 12 years older
Yes,
than you?
my first husband was 8
Is that what
years
you?
older than me, and my second husband was 12 years older than me. Antley is 4 years younger than I.
Oh, okay. That's not bad.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
not bad
not now that
at all.
I'm more mature.
Well, I want you to know that Deacon Mills has said that you two are amazing and a blessing to each other. Thank you for sharing. And she says, God bless. I
Thank
call
you.
her my daughter from Kenya. My daughter from Kenya says uh, that you are a beautiful couple. She's just 21 years old, so she is saying that what is being said is interesting. Um, and again, blessings. Someone poses a question, and this is from you see. I have I have names for the people. I call her my big sister, Mary Ruiz, and she's from Texas. She said, "Why is there sometimes too much pressure from people for someone to marry? Some people are happy not being married."
I want to make that. I don't know who that is. I don't know
Well,
about that.
and that is true. I mean, some people may be happy not being married. There are certainly biblical reasons, Levitical reasons, health reasons, psychological reasons that marriage is beneficial. People that are married do tend to be healthier, do tend to live longer. They do benefit one another in the long run. But granted, that is not everyone. But you know, operating under this Christian mantle. And again, that's where I started off because I knew I did not want to have the pain, the heartache, the arguments, and disagreements with someone who was atheist, agnostic, and did not believe or have the same faith that I do. Um, that is the worldview that I am operating from. Therefore, that is the reasoning for what I'm saying and for what I believe. Not everyone believes the same way. And you definitely don't want to gravitate to a mate who doesn't have the same beliefs. That that is a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
What she
So
said.
it is very true. If you're yes, yes, go ahead.
No, I was saying what she said.
Oh, you said what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. If you're happy being single, enjoy being single. And you're right. You shouldn't feel pressured. I know that there are some cultures. I with the community of believers, we have people in Africa, and they are. I remember speaking to one of the sisters, and she was like 41, almost 42, and they had her believing that she was old, because she had not been married. She was just 41, almost 42 years old, and she was like, "Oh, I'm too old to marry," and
Ah,
and
not you.
that is how she was made to feel. Of course, we here in America, we don't think that way, but
Mm.
depending on your culture, and how you were raised, yeah, they look at you, something was wrong with you. If at 25 you are not married, the culture, and so it could put pressure on people. If maybe you are from old school parents, and the old school parents feel like, okay, you should be married, you should have already had kids. And nowadays, people want their careers first. So all of that does put pressure on people. But bottom
Right.
line is that you have to be at peace with your. Yes.
You do need to be at peace with
Yes.
yourself, but you've also got to have a focus on your worldview. And I mean that really is key, because folks that are focused on a career, is your life only about amassing wealth that you will leave here on this planet? I mean, is that why we have millionaires and billionaires trying to build rockets into space? I mean, what is your goal? I mean, is it to save souls? Is it to help the unhoused, to clothe the naked, to feed the hungry? I mean, if you really put, your goals in mind of what you want to do and what you want to achieve in life so that you can help others, if you are not the center of it all, if you really put God as your focus, you'll see things differently. But that's part of our mission as disciples, is to go out and to reach and to teach others about having a good life.
What she said.
Well, that is once again the spokesperson has spoken. Well, Antley, Angela, Mr. and Mrs. Staten, I want to thank you so much for just availing your time. For what you said is a blessing to many people. Thank you, nephew, Anthony, for answering that call. And what happened was you answered the call first, and then I had others said, "Okay, well, maybe I should do it." So you beat
Save
them
it for
to it.
next
I'm
week.
really glad
Thank you
to
again, Uncle
have this
Steve.
conversation.
Thank you for
Yes.
having us. We really appreciate you being able to share with you and your viewers. You are a blessing.
And thank you also for coming to the wedding.
Oh, yes. I'm really glad that I was able to make it. Um, I just have to. I have three more comments that and Sister Monday, who's watching from Zambia, East Africa. So
Wow.
she has been watching, and I believe that it is 6 hours in front of us. So it
Ooh,
may
my goodness.
Was it 4 o'clock in the
close
Ooh,
morning?
to
that's
4 o'clock
we're
in the
late
morning
show.
in
Wow.
Zambia,
Late show.
right? East East Africa, and also um, uh, I'm looking at the names here, but what a beautiful couple. And this is from my big sister, Mary Louise, in Texas. She says, "What a beautiful couple. God bless your marriage."
Thank you.
Deacon Mills, she says, "So very true. Put God's plan for your life first." Um,
Mhm.
and Deacon says, "Thank you." And Sister Monde from Zambia, Africa, she says, "Blessings. Uh, I have learned a lot. I've learned a lot." So you are blessing Prophetess Ilonda. She says, "Beautiful, awesome testimony. Continue blessings." And from my daughter from Nairobi, Kenya, she says, "Taking notes for future reference." So she is taking notes for future references. And amen. To God be the glory.
For all
Would
the
anyone
good things he's
want to
done.
pray for um, the the single ones that are still waiting and have a desire to marry? Does anyone of you want to pray for them?
That's you.
But you can't say no, because you can't say no. I don't want to pray for you.
Right.
It's just a matter
Absolutely.
of which
Dear
one
Lord Heavenly Father,
will pray
we want to thank you.
for.
We want to thank you for each and every individual soul you have gathered together tonight. Lord, we look to you for your guidance. We look to you because we want to be like you. We are your sons and your daughters. You mean for us to have joy. You mean for us to have happiness. You told us to be fruitful and to multiply. Lord, you want us to have joy and satisfaction in life. Lord, bless all those who have that desire to have a mate, to have a partner in this life as we go out together to reach others for you. We ask these blessings in your Son, Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
Well, amen. I want you just to hold the line. Let me just say goodbye to each and every one. Sister Retta, um, Sister Retta says, and Sister Retta says, please pray for me. Thank you. I am waiting on the Lord. So Sister Retta, she is here in South Carolina. She says she is waiting on the Lord. Well, I want you just to hold the line and let me just say good evening to everyone, and I'll be right back with you. I just want to say to everyone, thank you so much for being with us. This is what I call the spontaneous interview. Now, most interviews are planned, such as Monday. On Monday, we're going to hear from our sister Monday from Zambia, East Africa. So we're going to hear from her. We're going to have a special guest who is an overseer who is going to share about pastoring, the joys and the challenges of pastoring. And he is from Zimbabwe, Africa. So we're going to be speaking with him. That's going to be 12 noon Eastern time because in Zambia it will be 6 p.m. And so then there'll be other times in which just spontaneously I would say I want to interview someone tonight. I want to interview someone tomorrow, and um, and then the Lord will let me know. Whoever says I'll do it, and then they raise then we will address that. So I want to just say blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation, the process of two becoming one. God bless each and every one of you. Blessings to you, my big sister Mary, and as well as Sister Monday. God bless each and every one of you. Is my prayer. Until the next time, pray for me tomorrow. I don't have that much time to speak at the conference, but pray for me that in that 15-minute time slot that they've given me, that I will say what the Lord desires for to be said. I'm going to be his